All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Centurion Lounge podcast. I am your host, Captain William Stroud. It's a pleasure to have an outstanding crew of individuals on the podcast today. With me in front, I have Staff Sergeant Palmer, Sergeant Mejia, and Chief Johnson. And for those that can't see in the background, we got a couple of other individuals. We got Chief Luttrell and the ACOS of the 79th G4, Colonel Harrison. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
And I can't forget my battle buddy, Sergeant Kanangwe. Sorry, battle. That's all good. I wanted to bring you guys on today as we got some exciting news to share in the food service world. And that is, with the recent Philip Connolly competition, the DA level, that you guys officially won.
Yay!
Yeah, absolutely. That's exciting news. So look, you guys, I've known you now for a little over a year. I got to see you compete at the USARC level competition. That was exciting. You guys crushed it. And then, of course, this year you went on to do the DA level. I met Sergeant Mejia when she was Specialist Mejia. She promoted last year, the same day as the competition. And I met you in that first time. I think, was that your first time in that competition?
Negative, sir.
Okay.
Well,
in that role,
yes, sir.
Okay.
I was shift leader before.
Yeah.
And then I was also a cook.
Okay.
In my past Connolly's.
Well, I got to say, the first time that I saw you, I know you were like getting your feet wet. It seemed like you were like all over the place trying to get it ready. But this time around, you were pristine. You were polished. I think everybody saw that. And I think that is what led to your team being super successful. You were just popping the whole time. So can you share some insight with us on like, how did you prepare for that role? And obviously you were the team leader again, but can you kind of give us some background on what you guys did?
So, sir, I got the notice when I was at A-Grit from Chief Luttrell that we're being looked at to compete in the Connolly.
Yeah.
And I initially told him no, because I know what it entails.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized with the team I have and the great staff that I do have, and I've been knowing a lot of them since they were E4s, and I've been in Sloan, Nevada for a long time with them, that I could definitely mentor them to get us to win the Connolly.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I knew our MTO equipment already.
Right.
I was familiarized with our kitchen and just where all of our equipment was and with the personnel. So it just made it a lot easier that I was TPU in Sloan and then transitioned into AGR, which led me to have a successful team and Connolly.
Awesome. Now, so Sergeant Mejia,
yes, sir.
Being that last time you did head count last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
How this time going into the competition, obviously you got put into a new role as you were doing rations this time, right? The NCOIC for rations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still did head count too.
Yes.
Right.
I was in charge of both.
Excellent. Can you kind of tell us, your experience from last year compared to this year and how you felt going into the competition?
Last year, I wasn't actually in charge of rations and the head count. I was kind of just helping the previous NCOIC there.
Yeah.
Which is Sergeant Borjas. And this time around, I was actually in charge of both, managing everything, making sure everything went well. So my experience this time, it was more hectic for sure because I was bringing the ingredients up to the MKT and everything. And then, I enjoyed it overall. I liked my experience this time around.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you kind of got thrust in, like, from this one, you went from doing, the one, and then
the
Sergeant Palmer's like, you're just going to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel when she told you that, like, hey, this is going to be your role?
Well, in the beginning, I was like, dang, I'm going to do this head count too, because head count is another job in itself. Like, it's a lot to be in charge of. So I initially didn't want to do both head count and rations because rations is a lot, but I took on the role and I did great, I think.
What did that mean?
She did do great.
She did amazing.
Excellent. Yes.
What did it mean coming from Sergeant Palmer that she chose you for that position? I mean, obviously she had a lot of individuals that are NCOs, but she chose you to take on that role. So it looks like she saw something in you that she wanted to pull out, right? And then she's still molding and still helping you get to a level.
Right. That meant a lot because she trusted me with the head count. That's a lot to be in charge of, money and making sure everybody gets their meals right. So it meant a lot to me.
Sure. Sergeant Palmer, why did you choose her for the position that she had?
I chose her, sir, because we love the new point of sale system.
Yeah.
And I just know that she's very she zooms in on any project I give her. Like, she'll complete it from start to finish with her best foot forward, and she always impresses me. Yeah. So attention to detail, definitely. It's Sergeant Mejia.
Oh, sorry. You guys had like a little bit of trouble out in the field where the head count thing went down this time, right? How did you guys overcome that?
So it wasn't necessarily that it went down, sir. It was first and foremost taking a big old computer instead of the little scan and go is hectic. But because you have to have power for it, you don't necessarily need internet for it.
Right.
So that's awesome. But without the mech updated, it was causing us trouble. So we had to override it constantly. Yeah. And then a lot of times we would get error codes and we would have to do a group entry. But adapting.
And one time the power did go off, so we had to restart the computer again.
Well, I saw you guys were like doing it manual, like you were having to write it all down. And
so you should, yes, sir. You should always do a backup 3032 in case you lose that data, regardless of what anybody says.
Oh, is that like the sign-in roster?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Make sure everybody's paying. Just show up and be like, "Yeah, I paid my $10, and it is what it is." Chief, what did you think about like Mejia's performance as she stepped into that role?
Oh, it was amazing. I remember her from the first one kind of hanging out, and we had a couple of conversations, but then she was always in the background. Yeah. And so to be able to see her step in, and I know that they did lose points last time because the rations NCO kept leaving the rations.
Sergeant Borja.
I kept telling her, get back to the rations, get back. And because, but so I was watching her and she did not leave it unlocked once that I saw. So she took it very, like so it's security of your rations. Okay. Yeah. So you get graded on that. You got to make sure that you're taking accountability of them and keeping them safe from potential coyotes or people coming and stealing it or coming in and messing with it, or the enemy coming and doing something. So it is a criteria that we get graded on. So I know from last time, because I kept catching the Sergeant Borja, so I told her I was watching her, and she did an excellent job, and she always has a smile. She always is positive about what she's doing. And very willing to do what needs to get done. So it was great to watch her kind of step up and shine and take that responsibility and grow through that experience. So
how about Sergeant Palmer? Like this time around, like I was saying earlier, she seemed more polished, like just ready to go for it. You know what I mean? She had studied, she had done the work, and this time around.
I would say, like, I'm blown away by Sergeant Palmer every time I work with her. So I didn't really see a lot of the hectic from the first time. So I might have missed that one. But I told them at the closing of the USARC level that their performance was top level DA level performance. Like that first one was amazing. But the second time, the DA is always a little bit more relaxed because you know what to expect. The team already knows what to expect. A lot of that admin stuff has already been taken care of. It's just simple updates, so it's not as much of a take on for that DA level. So maybe that's why she, came across a little more
confident,
calm, and not as hectic. But honestly, blown away every time I work with her. So
definitely
she did a great job. The team did great. I was really happy with their performance.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I don't want to take anything away I think both times you did phenomenal. I just noticed, like me, right? I just have to look at it from the outside looking in, right? It's just, and I was there with, like, because even with us, like, you were easier to work with this time with us. Like, you weren't like, get off my trailer, like, all these things like you were with Sergeant K the first time. It would flowed better, right? And just like from the time like you guys started in the morning, even the day before, like your briefings, like getting everybody to understand like, hey, how this was going to set up. I just noticed that the flow was just better, and I think that Chief Hunter and I forget the other chief that was there.
Chief Cosme.
Chief Cosme, right? I think that they saw that too, right? I think it was just from the beginning, people knew this. Like, oh yeah, it's like someone that's like that superstar, you know, it stands like when you're out there playing with like Michael Jordan, right? They know who's gonna win already. You know what I mean? That's what I thought. Like coming in, like I stepped on like coming out there that day that you guys executed, and I was really blown away too by the. So I noticed that the setup, like the actual like field environment that you guys had, like last time, it kind of looked, in my opinion, it was like very dull.
Yeah, that's what everyone said.
Yeah. And it looked super tactical this time. Like you guys had like little pathways built. You had your sand table that was better. Like I think everything in my mind, you know what I mean? I just thought it was better.
Well, you did have the map blown up behind it.
Yeah.
You didn't have that last
You didn't
time.
like it?
No, it wasn't that, sir.
Oh.
Chief France did amazing.
Yeah.
He does awesome with the sand table.
Yeah.
But no, to be fair, everything went smooth because we had annual training bumped up into our Conley this time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So last time we didn't have that. It was me crunching numbers, crunching signatures, like it.
For sure.
Just I was on Amazon every night trying to get like the perfect
Absolutely.
cups for our salads and our dessert cups. So
Yeah.
this time it went really smooth because we already knew what to expect. And Chief Hunter graded one of my Conleys before. So I kind of knew that he was a strict grader.
Mhm.
So I prepared myself for it and just had to orient myself to what we were trying to do. We did a site recon, which really helped. I had the whole team go out there and they legit mapped everything out this time, put rocks down, spray painted to where everything was going to be located. And then we had camo netting. So that helped. I don't know if we got more funding because it was DA level, but we had the camo netting, we had a reefer truck, and all of that helped.
So if you were talking about rations last year, right? It was a little hard to work with. But, you know, you guys had the reefer van this year, right? And like, I really think that might have helped like the overall flow of things because it was just there and it's easier versus you had all the containers that were open the last time and you had all these little segmented pieces. I didn't actually get to see inside the van, so I don't remember how it looked. I know it's a refrigerator and it has all the individual components, but it seemed easier to work with this time.
There's just a lot more space this time because last time we had the ice chest.
Yeah.
And we had to take everything out in order to get the ingredient. Yeah, and then we had to put it back in, making sure the temperature was right.
Yeah.
It was just a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you think you improved most between the USARC level and the DA level?
I think overall just being more prepared.
Okay.
I think we were more prepared this time around than last time.
Prepared how?
This time, sir, they had more practice with the menu.
That too,
Okay.
yeah.
It got to the point where I didn't want to eat it anymore.
Yeah.
But it was delicious.
Yeah.
But they were very well seasoned on their recipe cards.
Definitely.
And just they knew like how the load plan was going to go. They knew, you know, like I said, the site layout was the big thing. A lot of them, it was their first Conley during the USARC level. So it was their first time seeing it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just walking into what are we doing?
Right.
So this time, everybody knew, like, we have an entry control point. We have a rations room. We have an admin tent. So it just made it a lot smoother.
Did you guys have any new members of the team this year? Or were everybody the same from the USARC?
There's about 3 new soldiers out there, sir.
Okay. How did they take it this first go?
They did well. They were on security.
Yeah.
We didn't get attacked.
You didn't
So they succeeded.
So they weren't part of the cooking team. They were just part of the security detail.
Correct, sir. So everybody out there was a 92 Golf
Yeah.
from security
Yeah.
to the field sanitation team. The KPs were not part of 1003rd, but they were part of our battalion. Because we fed our battalion, we requested that they gave us KPs. So
Okay. But the core team, the same team that you had at USARC, the competition for the cooking component of it, they were the same team that you had.
Exact same cooks.
Did you rotate the positions for them though?
Negative.
Okay.
Negative. So we started practicing in October of 2023. That was our first meal. And that's when Chief Luttrell came out and Chief Farron. They graded us at Sloan.
Okay.
And I just took it kind of personal because they were my personal recipes. And I was like, no, that pineapple definitely goes on those sliders.
Yeah, for sure.
That coleslaw definitely goes on those sliders. And I was not changing it. Like, I was excited to eat that slider.
I didn't get to have the slider. You guys ran out of sliders. I had the barbecue chicken.
We did not run out, sir.
I did. Well, I don't know. When I went up there, they were like, there was nothing. It was because it was Kay and I got it like the very end, and so there was nobody in the kitchen left. Everybody was already eating, and so I got I think it was like the barbecue, or not the barbecue chicken, but the buffalo chicken and the rice. That was fine with me. I had the one from the year before, and it was like that nostalgia. I just wanted to bring it back because I love Gonzalez's rolls. That's my favorite part of that entire
amazing.
thing.
Her rolls are really good.
I think that's what won a lot of people over on that meal was the rolls because she makes them from scratch. Like I think they were better this year than last year. Yeah, that was my thing.
So, sir, our rolls, we got that idea from Chief Shiner. She used to be the 79th TSC food. Yeah. So she actually taught us how to proof the rolls in an insulated food container.
Oh, wow.
And so I definitely wanted those rolls again.
Yeah.
And Chief Nieves was out there during my first or second Conley 2020. And those rolls were a hit back then.
For sure.
Like, we had the judges out there rolling the rolls with us. So I definitely wanted to incorporate it again because we had to have a baking item. And so what's a better way to win the judges' hearts other than
rolls.
fresh rolls?
Definitely.
Sergeant Gonzalez initially wasn't on the original Conley team when I had picked my 92 Golfs.
Okay.
But as we went on, she really showed the interest. Like, I want to be up there. And I was like, perfect.
Well, because I know she does that in her civilian profession, right? She does. She's a prep cook. I think is what she is.
She's a line cook. Sir.
She's a line cook. At one of the restaurants there in Las Vegas, right?
At Vic's.
Definitely.
Jazz Bar.
Okay.
So she does really, really well.
I think,
she's amazing.
Is she gonna go on and like become a chef or anything like?
She wants to. She wants to. So she's actually going out to Chicago with me. We're the two going out.
Just you two?
There's going to be a total of 6 of us, sir.
Okay.
But 2 of us get funded by JCO, and then the other 4 will be funded by the unit. But I chose Sergeant Gonzalez just because her dedication from start to finish of the Conley was amazing. Like, she was the organized one. She was labeling the mobile kitchen trailer and just really motivated everybody to keep on going.
She got one of the chef jacket coins, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
It was her and the other guy. Forgot his name.
Specialist Smith.
Yeah, they were the 2, right? That got it. Yeah, I think it's well deserved. Those are awesome. I think you got one too, right?
Yeah, she did.
Of course you did, because you only have like 90 million coins in your office. You know that from every cooking competition that's ever existed.
Because I was active duty. So honestly, active duty made me have a love for food service. I started in Korea at the CG's mess hall, and you had to be interviewed to work there. It wasn't just any 92 Golf graduating AIT that got selected to work there. Yeah. So working there, I learned the baking, the outside line. I had to cook breakfast by myself. I was very scared, but even the salad bar, like, it was amazing because you had to have 5 different salads out on the outside line at all times. So they just let me be creative, and my love for culinary really grew because I didn't have that NCO that's like, follow that recipe card. So I kind of jungle cooked. And it made me really passionate about, okay, here's the standard, but you can enhance it.
Sergeant Palmer, this is not a forum to be modest. We know that you're the GOAT. Everybody believes that you're the GOAT. It's okay to say that you're the GOAT.
No, sir.
No, you don't.
Okay. We can say it. We can say it.
You're the GOAT. Everybody believes it.
We can say it. But that just means I had to start judging the Conleys and not competing.
Okay, but you've already made it to the highest echelon of the competition. You've won. What else is after this? You going to Disney World? Isn't that what happens after you win the Super Bowl?
Well,
So-
there's the next Connolly.
I've actually had the feeling of winning before. I was with Chief Nieves and Chief Shiner. We won then too. So my ultimate goal is I can retire next year, but I will probably re-enlist indefinitely. I don't know if I want to become a food service warrant. I don't know. But I have a lot of options in the air right now. However, my civilian job, I am a cook at the VA hospital in Southern Nevada.
Okay.
Because I love what I do, feeding the patients and serving the veterans. So everything I've done is very rewarding, not only from the military, but the civilian side too. I enjoy what I do. I started cooking at 14. So just showing these soldiers what I know and teaching them everything I know so that they can be the next great generation is honestly what I love. I love it. I love it. Like, I love teaching them everything I know. And I've had great mentors along the way
for sure
teach me what I know.
For sure. Well, when are we going to at least see another rocker underneath there?
March 2026, I'll be eligible, sir.
You will be? Okay. Oh, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be a big one. You need to get that. And then maybe you put on some of that rank. You can do it. You'd be great.
No, definitely, sir.
Okay.
I know there's self-growth within myself, but
Absolutely.
I don't know what I want to do yet. Many options.
Well, hey, just keep winning. I'll be there next year if you go back, you know. I'll just watch you win again.
I think, are we banned from competing? Like, for the next, like, 2 or 3 years? Oh,
5
No,
years.
sorry.
I really thought we were. Like, they had to rotate through all of. So.
I don't know. Is she banned?
No.
That's a thing? Okay.
Not a thing I've ever heard of.
Is that a ban, Chief? Does she get banned? Is that a thing?
We try to move it around. Like, it's not
So
like
it's not the
we're gonna
same.
pick the same unit
Oh,
over and
okay.
over because it's a long process. You know, she started her first one evaluated by the TSC was October 2023, and they
Yeah.
just completed that annual Connolly, the 57th. It goes over 2 years.
That's right, yeah.
You're not gonna put a unit through that over and over and over. You gotta. They're not banned because
refresh.
right.
For sure. I
Right.
mean, hey, it's there.
but you just want to make sure that
Yeah.
you're not putting that. It's a lot to put on a unit, so you're not going to put it on the same people over and over. You know, you got to spread the love.
Definitely. All right, Mahia, what about you?
What about me?
So you're right now you're in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think last time you told me you were studying nursing, right?
Yes.
How's that going?
The program actually hasn't started yet. It starts in May.
Okay.
I'm pretty nervous because I don't know nothing about nursing,
Okay.
but we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I know you were talking about earlier that you were trying to relate finding something that was similar to what you're doing on the military side.
Right.
What changed your mind or your process on maybe choosing nutrition versus nursing?
You mean choosing nursing over?
Yeah. Like what what made you change for that?
I just wanted like a more closer relationship with my patient.
Okay.
Because as a dietitian, you can only prescribe them a meal plan and basically look over their nutrition, what they need. You can't really give them a medication or take care of them per se. Yeah, as a nurse, you do everything. You look at their nutrition, you look at their medications, how their body is reacting to the medication, everything.
Yeah.
And I just wanted that closer relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, I did I shadowed a dietitian recently, and I just didn't like what he was doing. He was just giving them a paper of like, through 1 through 10, how is your diet?
Right.
Or how do you feel today with the smiley face? And he would just give them a paper and they would just take it and not even look at it. Yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted a closer relationship with my patient. Yeah.
I see. Well, I think we had talked about it, but I got my degree in nutrition and I was going to become a dietitian.
Yeah.
But I decided, at the time, so like dietetics is it's more female dominated field.
It is.
And it's probably still at the time, maybe even now, is like you have to typically do like a practicum and then you have to go to an internship. And at the time, so I graduated in 2012 and they were only accepting, it was the overall for the class, there was 42 in my class and there was, I think the pickup rate for the internship was like a 33% pickup rate. So it's like 1 out of 3 were going to get picked up.
Yeah.
And only one male in my class got picked up. And he also had that he was prior service Navy. So like they were looking for like certain demographics at the time.
Yeah.
But, it was just kind of like that same way. Like I didn't choose nursing because they told me 1 out of 3 were going to graduate in the class. I was like, I'm not going to do that. Let me go try nutrition.
Yeah.
And I'm like you, I didn't really know like initially what I wanted to do. I just did it. But nutrition was fun. I got to learn about, I wanted to become a sports dietitian.
So did I.
And, go work with a professional sports team. Cause that's where my heart is like fitness and all that stuff. So really digging into it. And I look at the Army, I was talking to Master Sergeant Pacheco earlier and, I think Army, we in general, we're like athletes.
Yeah.
And, we're trying to fuel our bodies to be the best and capable, fighters that we can be. But I think that it's great because you guys get to do that for us. Right. And I wish that we got to eat like field food like that all the time that you guys get to prepare. but it's only at like events like this that I've ever really
Yeah.
seen that type of. Otherwise, it's just a normal UGR, a
Yeah,
heat
or
and
an
serve,
MRE.
or an
Yeah.
MRE. You know, how do you think? You know, between the three of you, like how do you think that we can maybe the future of Army food service and like getting in the field where people can actually have like gourmet meals? Like, how do you think that you think
Like
that that's a possibility or?
in the field?
Unrealistic.
We're
sir.
going
Yeah.
the opposite direction with our new doctrine.
Are we?
We are.
What do you mean the opposite direction?
So the future battlefield is not going to, currently as what we're seeing, is not going to have refrigeration. And we're going to rely more on the
What?
assault kitchens and UGR heat and serves as the primary operational ration.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons, not to segue into this event, but that's one of the reasons I'm focusing the Mystery Basket Challenge on the assault kitchen and
Okay.
the UGR heat and serve, and showing the soldiers that, like, we're not going to do a gourmet meal, but we can enhance it to make it a little better, because we know that heat and serves are not the most delicious.
Definitely.
So that's why that was the main component of that Mystery Basket Challenge, was because that's the way the Army ASL 2030 is moving. With the, you know, I don't know what I'm allowed to and not say, but what we're heading towards, that's what we're focusing on. Our battlefield, we're moving towards Lisco.
Yeah, the Lisco
Like,
environment.
yeah, so like, is that, but that's what we're moving towards. So that's why we're not relying on refrigeration. We're really only gonna focus on those heat and serves and how we can enhance those.
Okay. So I guess is the focal point of like future competition. Like, I guess the Connolly will always be what the Connolly is. And then, you know, it's always going to be more of a gourmet, like who can cook the best in that way. But
So had you been to a Connolly before?
last year was my first one.
Your first one. So
Yeah.
the Connolly used to be a lot different, especially for the reserves. We would cook A rations, meaning we would put in an AFMIS request for whatever the menu was that USARC decided, and we would go to the grocery store and buy the rations directly from the grocery store
Right.
and cook off. And you could make it as elaborate as you wanted. And you would also spend, typically units would be at the site for a week plus, really just beautifying their field site.
Yeah.
And units would throw a lot of money at it. You could buy whatever you needed, and it was a beautiful field site
Sure.
that stayed. And then the day of the evaluation was one day, and they'd show up that morning. You'd do your quick in brief, cook, mount, cook, eat, and be done. But as we're focusing on readiness more, that's when we incorporated opening up the field equipment, the mobile kitchen trailer, and the food sanitation center.
Right.
And so we added that element. You also get graded now on a convoy brief, which never used to be a part of it.
Right.
You get graded on PMCS because we were seeing in the field soldiers were not maintaining their equipment. So now we need to demonstrate to the evaluators that we know how to properly PMCS our equipment. So those are things that we added in to begin this shift towards LISCO, and also heat and serves, right? So like I said, it used to be grocery store items, and now you have to use a UGR heat and serve, and you have to enhance it through the Connolly. What that looks like is different for everyone, but you know, you add a recipe item that requires some type of refrigeration, you can get justification to have that there.
Yeah.
But that might even go away for future Connolly's, where you may actually, you know, lose points if you have refrigeration, because that's taking away from that intent of battlefield where we're headed. So
I see. So yeah, that seems a little more intense.
it's way different. It used to be one day, and they tried it where soldiers would open up the equipment and then try and cook that same day, and it just was too much. Especially if they had an issue opening up the MKT, they'd get frazzled and lose their mind and not be able to regroup in time to properly execute the meal. So we split it into the 2 days, which works really well time-wise. I know, like, for me, when I left the first day, after you guys opened everything up, I was like, man, I bet they wish it was totally over. Like, it would be kind of nice to just knock it all out in one day, but at least this way once the evaluators leave, after they open everything up, they do get that chance to go ahead and beautify it a little bit, but you really want to rely on what you have available.
Yeah.
So they did really good. The site they were at had all those cinder blocks.
Oh yeah.
So that was a blessing, and like random rocks and dirt that they used and incorporated into their field site, which made it, I mean, that was excellent. That was points right there, because use of natural resources is
Covering
a factor.
concealment, those type of
Yeah,
things.
and so they had their fighting positions with that. They used the cinder blocks to be a sound barrier around the generators. So all of that is what we're looking for now, instead of just going and dropping thousands of dollars to make things look good. Yeah, so
yeah, it's working within the realm of what you have,
exactly,
right? Versus what when you're actually in a deployed environment.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now that I'll bring it back to this. So, and then we'll transition to the Culinary of the Year competition, which is why everyone that's here on the panel is here for that. But so you guys, from your perspective, Philip Connolly, outstanding event. You guys crushed it, right? So now that's done, you guys, you'll go to Chicago, right? When in Chicago are you guys going? Do you know?
It's my birthday week, sir.
Okay.
May 14th through the 18th, I believe.
May 14th to 18th. Okay. And you guys will you cook there as well?
So the two that are funded by JCO, you get to train with the National Restaurant Association.
Okay, nice.
And then you go to the National Restaurant Association show.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that's a huge show.
Cool.
It's really cool. It's this big event center, like 3 levels.
Yeah.
And it's all these vendors that come and they bring lots of goodies. So bring an empty suitcase, because you can go home with
Tough box.
Yeah, your tough box.
So you said 6 people are going, but only 2 people are going to be able to cook?
Yes, sir. The two that are funded by JCO, they're the 2 that have to train with the National Restaurant Association. So that's why I chose Sarah Gonzalez, because her love and passion for food service is strong like mine.
And who's the other one?
Sarah Gonzalez?
No, who's the other person?
Myself, sir.
Oh, yourself? Okay, so you 2 will be serving.
I'm very greedy, if you don't know that about me yet.
It's deserving. I mean, she did. The team carries their own weight, but Sergeant Palmer, especially as the AGR, was there nonstop working really hard on this event.
Yeah.
So.
And you have a family too, right?
Yes, sir. And I had to take everything that I was buying for this Conley and send it to one of my NCO's house because my husband was tired of me buying for this Conley.
He's like, you're not even cooking for me. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I definitely cook at home too,
Do
sir.
you? Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
He probably eats really good. I'm not even going to lie. Do you think your food is better in the Army or like at home? Probably at home, right? Because you can use whatever.
Both, sir. Because I'm not spending my own money when I'm cooking for the Army.
Sure.
So I get to buy good stuff on the government dime. And then
She stays within BDFA, though.
We sure do, especially for Family Day.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I hopefully Chief can let me go and I can go and cover you guys. I don't know if they'll let me, but that'd be great to get out. And,
the Chicago.
To go see you at Chicago. If I can, I'd love to. It'd be great.
The tickets are sold out, sir. I just found out, but you're more than welcome to come.
Maybe I can get one of those passes and just say, hey, I'm paparazzi. I'm just here to take photos.
Mm-hmm.
If there's someone I can contact or reach out to, let me know.
Master Sergeant Dennis at JCO.
Okay.
She should be able to help you.
Yeah. And if I can't, I'm proud of you guys. I think you did phenomenal. And I know that you'll get a lot of photos there and things like that we can celebrate you later. Yeah. So I saw you, like you were back there talking with the soldiers that are there. And it seemed like you're kind of stepping into that NCO role and you were just trying to motivate and help them, trying to get oriented. How are you doing with that?
They were trying to figure out how to set up the sinks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to put hot water into the last sink, but we put bleach instead because it's too hot. Yeah, so I was just trying to save them from burning their hands. Yeah.
How do you see your role over the next couple of days? Like, how do you think it's gonna kind of go?
I don't think I'm gonna have much of a role during the competition. I'm just gonna be helping them.
You're gonna start yelling at people?
I'm just gonna be helping them. Yeah.
She definitely has a role, sir.
Yeah.
If I'm here,
She
She's
has a
working
role.
too.
Okay. No, I get
Oh,
you.
we got a lot for you to do.
Yeah.
She was like, it's
We'll-
just a free vacation for her
we'll
to,
talk
to come
later.
over to Cali. She's just trying to party.
She'll be
so-
busy.
No.
She'll be busy.
I got you. Awesome. Hey, so Chief Luttrell, thanks for joining us.
Hi,
I know
Chief.
that.
Yay, Chief Luttrell.
Yeah. I know you
It's good to
you
be
were
here.
out there, starting to get soldiers ready for the board that's going to happen. It's tonight or tomorrow?
Well, each ESC is a different time.
Okay.
My new team is going to happen, I believe, tomorrow afternoon.
Awesome, man. I'm happy to have you here. So just to backpedal just a little bit. So I want to give you your kudos as well, right? So you took the team to the USARC level when I first met you last year, and then this year you went to the Connolly, right? I think you did a phenomenal job, and I know that you're excited. I know it's kind of bittersweet for you that when you were out there in Vegas, I saw a little tear kind of poking your eye. You wanted to let it go, even though you're a stoic kind of man. I get you, but I know you're proud of your team, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I really feel fortunate, blessed to have just probably the best field feeding detachment. I mean, I don't know all the teams in USARC, but I feel like
You can
it's
say it.
the
They're
best
the best.
in USARC. So, so I was fate kind of stumbled me upon that team and the team leader, this NCO here to my right. So, it was kind of not a hard decision who I wanted to nominate to be the 57th Philip A. Connolly nominee. So, and really, it was kind of my work during my whole tenure at the 311th.
Mhm.
So it's a huge chunk of it. I came in the spring of 21, and I just left last month. So it was a very big chunk of that time was this ongoing project.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they really made me look good because I didn't have to say things over and over. Yeah, I made a list, and we made a schedule of meetings with Chief Johnson and I, checking up on them. But Staff Sergeant Palmer kind of got ahead of the list. She kind of knew. She took the requirements in the Connolly Handbook and she ran with it.
Mhm.
She knew what was expected. I mean, she was thinking probably 5 levels deep on how am I gonna enhance this? Where are the judges' binders gonna look like?
Yeah.
So that's like kind of some bonus stuff. And I'm thinking, well, did you get this done? Did you get this done? And it's all yes, Chief, yes. Of course I did. So
Yeah.
it's so it was nice having that. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, normally you would have to push your team a little bit more. So like before this, I had a unit that for the Connolly competition that I did have to push and remind like every time we spoke to them. So
Yeah.
so it was nice, and it was definitely nice as that being with my timeline, the absolutely last event that I had going on as a 311th food program manager.
What do you think about Sergeant Palmer and her team, like overall, like compared to when you first came on board to where they ended up this year?
Well, when I first came on board, I met her. She wasn't in the same capacity. She was in a regular quartermaster unit, and she was a 92 Golf NCO. So, but when the field feeding idea came about, I mean, she was one of the first ones I thought of. Oh, I hope Sergeant Palmer, goes AGR and takes one of these detachments. And sure enough, she got picked up for the exact location she was in. So not only was I lucky, but the units in Sloan, Nevada were lucky to have her there. And even though she's not an officer, since she knew everybody, that kind of made up for that. And they knew. Even though she didn't have officer rank, they knew how hard of a worker she was and how earnest she was and how the passion she has for everything. So it enabled her to get things done, move things along logistically, and whenever there was an obstacle to overcome. Um, and then the dynamic between her and her team, so yes, she cares about them, but they respect her. So she's hard on them, but not so hard that they want to leave. They respect her greatly. Um, and she really wants them to succeed as individuals. She takes time to get to know each one of them.
Right.
She knows about their families, what they do on the civilian side. So you can tell just after spending 2 days around her and her team, the dynamic they have back and forth. So there's no faking going on.
Right.
She's not acting like she knows him. She does, and then vice versa. In fact, it's contagious because you get a soldier who visits her unit, her little team for a couple weekends, and they're thinking, maybe I want to stay in this unit. This feels like a family.
Right.
So it's and it didn't take too long for her to kind of form that. Once she got in charge and she met her soldiers, she started getting organized right away. And then from last year, the USARC level to this year, the DA level, it wasn't hard to grow and to see the growth from my perspective, from Chief Johnson's perspective.
Yeah. I mean, you ended on a high note. I mean, you took the championship, and then you deuced out, man.
Well,
he's he just dropped the mic and said, "Hey, I'm out, man."
I mean, I can't say that I was absolutely positive we got the win because you just can't say it. But it's like, if we didn't, come on.
Yeah.
What Chief Johnson was saying earlier about how it's changed, even when the evaluators said what the 1003rd did is almost too pretty. It's almost too much as far as the stones and the paths and the walkways and stuff. So it's almost that was almost a negative. So if you saw another team and they didn't have that pretty of a setup, well, maybe that's what we kind of are going toward. We want the austere feel, and not 48 hours to dress up a site and put daisies in the holes of stones and stuff. So but yeah, I mean but I think it all boils down to your leadership. Emphasize what's important, and go for that, focus on what's important. You also know what things in the what things in the evaluation count for more points.
Yeah.
So,
no, I think you guys did good, and it's a pleasure to watch it. So let's talk about the Culinary of the Year competition that's going on right now, right? So you guys, everyone got here. When did they get here? When everybody get here?
Last night.
Last night. Okay. And then you guys got an in-brief this morning, or you did the in-brief this morning. You had General Del Rosso on to kind of welcome everyone to the team, and then you guys started after it. So you've been doing training pretty much all day, right? You've been doing the kitchen training. Correct?
Yep. Today they're training on the assault kitchen, which a lot of them have never seen or used. So that's why a big part of what we wanted to get across during this event was that experience. So now they can go back and train their their soldiers back home on what it looks like to use this. Because if they've heard about it, a lot of them think it's just the UGR heat and serves. You're just going to heat them up and serve them. A lot of them don't realize there's so many other things you can do with it.
Right.
So we brought in Chief Woosley and Sergeant First Class Shelby. They are active duty and
all the
they're
way from Hawaii.
in Hawaii. Yeah.
Schofield Barracks.
Yeah.
Yep. And I had seen Chief Woosley. He was posting on Facebook some of the events that he was doing within his brigade combat teams, and really impressed and really loved that he was encouraging them to think outside the box and do more with this piece of equipment than what we often think of when we think of the AK. So that's what they've been doing all day. So they actually did maintenance training this morning, really opened it all up, went through the TM, learned about how it works, and then they got some rations and had to do kind of a brainstorm as a group
Yeah.
on how to enhance it, which will prepare them for their mystery basket challenge this next 2 days.
Okay. And there, every ESC is represented underneath the 79th here, right?
Correct. Each
Everyone sent a
ESC sent 2 soldiers.
Okay. And then, so like you're over the 311 team,
Yes, sir.
Okay. and then you're over the 364 team? Or
Yeah,
no?
yeah. So we're,
Okay.
I mean, so we're sponsoring them. There's certain individuals that sponsor or support the lower
Vendors.
enlisted,
Yeah.
and the NCO representatives from the ESCs.
Okay. Have we gotten at the 311? Have we gotten a new one of you yet?
No, we have someone covering down, but not.
We have someone covered down, but we don't actually have a new
Yeah,
you yet.
food warrant.
food warrant.
Yeah,
She
Okay.
reports in September,
that's
I
correct.
think. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, I guess we'll see her, meet her whenever. What's her name?
Chief Singletary.
Singletary. Yep.
Okay. Where is she coming from?
She's coming from the Atlanta area,
Okay.
Atlanta, Georgia, of the Third Med Command.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So what are some of the things that they're gonna do over this next 3 days? Starting tomorrow.
So there's 4 different competitions.
Okay.
The mystery basket, which we've already talked about. They're also going to be doing their culinary skills test. That's going to be in the kitchen with CW4 Nieves, who Sergeant Palmer talked a little bit about. He is a culinary extraordinaire, food advisor. So we brought him in. He'll evaluate them. They have to demonstrate their butcher skills. They're going to have a whole chicken. They have to break it down, show how they do that. Demonstrate other knife skills, performing cuts like the mince, the chop,
Julienne,
the julienne.
Beignet.
Yep, and they'll be doing that on potatoes and other root vegetables.
Mhm.
Then they have to make the 5 mother sauces,
Yeah.
and they're going to be tested on their seasoning identification skills. So do a taste and a smell test on different seasonings. And actually what's cool about that is after they demonstrate all of those skills, they're going to cook it off and prepare little samples. So the full-time staff around here will get to watch. We're going to lift the window partition and they can watch the culinary skills test a little bit, and then they'll get to sample that chicken, potatoes, carrots, cook off that they do. And then they're going to do a soldier knowledge board and a written exam. So 4 different, they're going to rotate through them over the next 2 days in 4-hour blocks.
Okay.
So while one ESC is doing the mystery basket, the other ones will be in the test or the knowledge board or the culinary skills. And then they'll rotate up until Wednesday night. And then Thursday is the awards ceremony.
With the smell and taste test, a lot of that's like really subjective, right? So how does that play out? Like, is there a certain like rubric to it, or like
If they can identify it or if they can't. So that was actually one of the things I got that idea from Sergeant Palmer as well. When I went to her annual training, when we did the mystery basket challenge, her soldiers cooked off. And what I loved about that was they all had the exact same ingredients. And how many teams was there? Like 8?
It was about 8 of them, Chief.
Yeah, and every single one made something completely different. Like,
Mm.
it blew my mind. I loved it. It was so
Yeah.
cool. And then throughout the day, you blindfold and then smell. If they can say what it is based off smell, they can get a point. And if they can say what it is based off tasting, they'll get a point. But if they can't, then they don't get the point.
Mm-hmm.
So is chicken the entree this time around, or
For the culinary skills test, that
Yeah.
is the product that they'll cook down. Yep.
Okay. But what is there like at the end? What is there like a specific meal that they're making in the end for the overall grading, or
Yes.
No,
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
are we allowed to know what that is?
So it's kind of like the Conley. So
Yeah.
you get a UGR heat and serve.
Okay.
They don't know which one.
What is the one that we're gonna get?
So the one is the exact same one that we did for the Conley.
The barbecue?
It is the
buffalo chicken?
barbecue pulled pork
Okay.
and buffalo chicken. However, they don't necessarily need to use the buffalo chicken and the barbecue pulled pork because you can wash off like the barbecue sauce,
Okay.
wash off the buffalo sauce, and do something different with it.
I see.
So there's a lot of options you can do. And then we went and got enhancements today, me and Chief Nieves.
Okay.
And so they have to enhance all these UGR heat and serves.
See.
And they're going to have 2 plates for themselves.
Yep.
So you have a NCO and a junior culinarian competing together
Okay.
from the same ESC.
Okay.
And then they have to make 2 plates for themselves, 2 plates for the judges.
Okay.
And then we'll have servers taking out 16 additional plates roughly to the paying customers.
So they're gonna work in as a team.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
so that's
for
an
the only for the
interesting part.
yes,
of
only
it.
for the mystery basket challenge.
Yeah.
Only for the mystery basket.
The
But
skills
otherwise it's
test, they're on their
individuals.
own. The board,
I
they're
see.
on their
Okay.
own. The food safety exam, they're on their own.
Okay. It's like a best warrior of the.
Exactly. That's
it's like,
what I've been
the
saying. It's-
culinary, you know, because they do it as a team and
Yeah.
they do it as an individual. So that's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
And then we have a prize for the top mystery basket team, but then also the points will be dispersed individually, right? So
Yeah.
like whatever they got during that will be added to their overall individual score.
Okay. And so for the mystery basket, like, okay, who are the graders for this event? Like, who are the
So we got
or evaluators? Excuse me, not graders, but
Yep, the
evaluators.
judges, it'll be CW5 Hunter, the
Okay.
Army Reserve Food Advisor,
Okay.
and then Chef Andre Ward. He was a 92 golf for 24 years. He
Yeah.
worked as a culinary manager for Barack Obama. He worked at the Pentagon for a while. He's also competed in several baking challenges on TV.
Mhm.
So like he did the Girl Scout challenge, those sweets. I don't know the names of them. I can't remember
Mhm.
right now, but
Food Network.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so he did a bunch of those. So he will be here, and Chief Hunter, they will be the judges for the Mystery Basket Challenge. And then to caveat off of, spreading the awareness part of it too, is we invited a community college in the local area that have culinary arts programs. So we do have one of them. One of the classes is going to be here tomorrow to watch the Mystery Basket. They're buying tickets to
Sweet.
eat the food. They'll watch the culinary skills test. We have recruiters coming, so hopefully, even just highlighting it, what we're doing, and getting that out there. Local media hopefully will be here,
Yeah.
so they know we're here and what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's just-
because the effort on recruiting is very important.
Yep.
I found that going to my new station, we're really low on Army cooks.
Yep.
So we need more 92 golf Army cooks to enlist. So
and that's both sides, right? That's retention and recruiting, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just how do we retain the qualified individuals, but then how do we get new individuals to come into this realm?
Well, if he didn't leave us, sir, he wouldn't be hurting.
Oh,
That's right. That's right.
But
He-
no, there's other ways we can get out there. Like my team goes to local community colleges in
I've
Las
seen that.
Vegas.
Yeah.
We've been out there recruiting. We've been at local food banks volunteering our time during annual training. So
Absolutely.
we let them know that we do exist and that there's good things happening.
Yeah, you're a great ambassador, Sergeant Palmer,
Mhm.
for this MOS and for the Army Reserve in general, right? Like, I think everyone knows that, and I've seen that firsthand. Like, even when I met you guys in Vegas, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come here to the grocery store." You're like, "Oh, we're at a school, we're doing this, right?" And I see you guys doing that all the time. And I don't know if the other ESCs are doing that. I don't know if other units, but that's hopefully you set a standard, for other people to emulate and follow after that, right? Because that's what we should be doing. We should be embedded in our communities. How many people even know here that this base is here, or that the 311th ESC is just right up the street in LA? And, so we have to impact the community in a lot more ways. So, but anyway, who's going to win this week?
No idea.
probably 364.
364. Oh man, that's some fighting
I'm
words.
not gonna lie.
I'll let them have it.
They
Yeah.
had a couple of
364.
Why will you let them have it?
364 all day.
Really?
Yeah,
Are you just saying that to be facetious?
No, they didn't know who I was. I went out there asking what they do,
Mm-hmm.
and 364.
Yeah.
That's who I have my odds on.
Really?
just like observing them doing the mystery basket brainstorming. Their ideas were pretty good, and their staff sergeant came up and asked me if the butter was gonna be clarified for the hollandaise, and I was like,
Which it
if
is.
you already know that, you're ahead of the game.
He worked at local restaurants, so
Hey, you just gonna do the 1003rd like that? You're not gonna support your
I
own
don't
guys?
know. That Sergeant Brooks Robinson is pretty good too.
Wilson, I think.
Brooks Wilson.
Yeah.
Brooks Wilson. So Sergeant Brooks Wilson, he's the one that we nominated from 311.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
He has a soft spot in my heart because his mom is my daughter's principal. So
yeah.
she looks out for my daughter. I look out for her son, which is
Hey.
my soldier. So
But also remember, like, it's not just the culinary skills. They also have to do a written exam and a soldier knowledge board,
For sure.
which, you know, that freaks people out. That's pretty intense for some of them. They might have that culinary brain and get creative out there and blow us away on the mystery basket, but they still have 3 other competitions that they have to.
Definitely.
But he knows his
Come through.
stuff. Brooks Wilson.
No, you'll be fine.
no,
That'll be
he
great.
definitely knows his stuff. We've been practicing reporting to the board. All of 1003rd had
Yeah.
to knock, not just Sergeant Brooks Wilson. So
Sergeant Palmer, you got to go down with the Titanic, man. Like,
Listen,
you got to be on the ship, and then when that bad boy crashes, you go down as the captain of that thing. You know
Chief
what I mean? Like,
Hunter
yeah.
said he had to tell her to slow down because she was making other debts look bad.
he did.
Okay.
I
I think she's messing around with him right now. I think she's really 14,
No, he
10,
literally
03rd, but then,
did.
you know, she's
just because I can do it, the other field feeding debts need to be able to do it as well. So
sure.
we gotta train as we fight. So if
Yeah.
you're doing XYZ, but Michigan's team is way down here, you gotta meet in the middle.
that's right. You got to help everyone else. You got to bring them all up. Right?
And I do. I'm always on the AGR Facebook page
Nice.
talking with the 92 Golfs.
Yeah.
And then when you come to these field feeding symposiums, you meet them face to face and you just collaborate off of each other and make each other better.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Yeah, like a basic question. Well, what do I do if we don't have anybody to cook for? Well, she has probably like 3 pages of stuff you can do. The whole visiting community college, going to classes, volunteering at food banks, that's not part of her job description. She's enhancing the duties of her job description.
Yeah.
So as chief in my position, I look at that and I'm like, okay, well, other teams, other debts, I'm gonna take that from her and suggest that to the other ones, and they're gonna look at me like, oh wow,
Right.
where'd Chief get all this information from? So
No, for sure. No, she has a lot to add to the team. Maybe it'll rub off on some of the other leadership, and they can do those things.
Also, I have to give credit to my friend that's the National Guard
Mhm.
equivalent of me. She's the one that really got my feet wet and showed me what the standard is. Her name is Staff Sergeant Hymenglow from the National Guard in Nevada, and we teach surf safe together. We
Okay.
teach food safety together. So I'm actually teaching them at the end of this month. So
Awesome.
networking.
No, that's great
Mhm.
stuff.
In order to be nominated for this competition, the Culinarian of the Year, your ESC Food Service Advisor, they all were instructed by the TSC Food Service Advisor to run their own internal, like,
Evaluation.
so they had to weed out their nominees and see who was the best. So us, as in 311th, each of us field feeding debts were instructed to nominate 1 NCO and 1 junior enlisted, and then Chief Luttrell, out of all of us that nominated somebody, picked who he thought would be the best based off the packets that we submitted to him. So you could have did a video, had your own internal board, but it was up to the ESC food service advisors to pick who they wanted within their ESC to compete.
So what are they going to take home? What are they going to win?
So the mystery basket challenge winners, you have a junior culinary and then you have an NCO. They get customized knives,
Oh wow,
nice knives.
Nice.
like
Mhm.
Japanese.
And then we have shadow boxes for the actual winners of
Nice.
the competition, junior and NCO. And then the runners up, they also get a nice trophy.
Yeah.
And then the finalists, they all get a nice medal. And then we got some cool shirts. They got chef jackets.
Yeah, I saw that. Chef jackets are really
So-
nice.
Chief Johnson is amazing. She puts a lot of effort into these events, and just all the raffles, all the prizes. Like, it's rewarding. It makes you want to go and compete.
I also have for the winner of each category, we're gonna get them seats in the advanced culinary training.
Oh,
with
awesome.
Jayco.
Nice.
Yep. So
That's great.
Very
That's
nice.
a
we'll be
is that an ATARS course?
HR's
It
course,
is.
yep, unit funded, or excuse me, the 79th will fund it for the 2 soldiers to go to that training.
That's awesome.
So
What does that give them? An identifier or an ASI, I guess?
What does it give them? ASI?
it's a broadening, like, yeah, it's just, it's ASI, yes, but we're trying to go to like broadening assignments as 92 golf. So
Yeah, yeah.
It's intense culinary training, so it's
It
like
is.
if you don't know the 5 mother sauces when you get there, you're gonna learn them in the first week.
Yeah.
Captain Stroud, do you know the 5 mother sauces?
Okay. Is it like a vinaigrette?
So just say Beth V,
Beth V,
bechamel,
bechamel,
Espanol,
Espanol,
tomato,
tomato,
hollandaise,
hollandaise,
velouté.
velouté.
Those are the 5 mother sauces.
Okay.
But we learn it at culinary school, not so much at AIT.
Not at AIT.
Yeah. Well, I think the school also will give when there's an opportunity to mobilize as a 92 golf, and the description is we want like a highly trained culinarian or a 92 golf.
Yeah.
Well, that person who went to advanced culinary will have an edge on everybody else.
For sure.
So to really show their talents.
That's awesome. So I'll give any last, closing words for you guys, just when it comes to like the Philip Connolly, what you've done up to this point, and then for, this competition and maybe where you see the future of food service going. So I'll just open the floor to you guys for that. If you have any thoughts,
Where do we see the future going?
yeah, I was just talking about like,
So,
go ahead.
well, I'll start. So I'm hoping that, although we are transitioning to ASL 2030 and we're taking, some of that creativity out of the battlefield, I'm hoping that this competition is going to bring it back to the reserves as a whole. So my goal is that Chief Hunter will get here and he will really like what we did and take it back to USARC, and hopefully next year we can do a TSC level to nominate our USARC competitors, and hopefully we can see a USARC Culinarian of the Year competition, because I understand the right hand. I get it. This is what we have to do as we fight, but we still need to elevate and appreciate the culinarians in the field and in our units, because otherwise we're going to lose those that have the passion and the drive like Sergeant Palmer. So, I mean, I will just say this. Did this inspire you and motivate you? Like, you were right there with me through this whole planning process. You're loving what you're seeing out there. Like, it's bringing life back to these soldiers who, with the transition into field feeding companies, I think a lot of the 92 Golfs have been feeling like, who cares about us? Nobody really cares. We're getting crapped on all the time. We're getting pulled in different directions. We're getting put in this unit and we don't know what's going on. The communication is lacking. Yeah. And they're getting out as fast or faster than they're getting in. And so if we can start to, the Philip A. Connolly is a great competition, but it's a unit competition, and you have to have a unit that's willing to do it. And not all culinarians are put in a place where they have that opportunity. So this is a chance they can do it as an individual and get recognized for their creativity, their passion, their drive for what we do as an art. 92 Golf is the only one of few, I don't know if it's the only, but it's one of the very few MOSs that is also an art. And so we need to highlight that, and we need to take care of them and show them that people do really care about you and want you here. And that's what I'm hoping that this competition does. And I'm hoping that we see next year it's a USARC level, and that's my goal. And I'll help him. I will, because I think it's a great thing.
I like what you said about, compared to the Philip A. Connolly competition, that group thing is kind of holds back individuals, because some soldiers don't have a team, but they want to express their talents and their skills. So this competition really lets them raise their hand and say, volunteer, and like, okay, I want to go to this. And it, I mean, to me, that's a great goal next year, to have it go to USARC. And also simultaneously, with this media coverage and maybe some motivating videos, we'd get some more high school kids wanting to join the Army and become cooks. and to join the team, because it's not bad food. It's not no fun. It is fun,
And good
and
food.
it's camaraderie.
Yeah.
So all those things add up to positive vibes.
Okay.
I love food service. Like I'm gonna tell every child that's in high school, come join the military and be a cook.
Yeah.
Like I have a 16-year-old, I have an 18-year-old. I tell them all the time, come on, and they're like, Mom, we're going to go be nurses. Like it's
For
not
sure.
our passion, but yeah, we want to draw in these high school students who actually do
Yeah.
the culinary program. There's a lot of technical schools in Las Vegas alone. They're in culinary programs, so I know the recruiters in my town, they're trying to throw together like a mystery basket challenge with these high school students using our rations,
Yeah.
and then they have to enhance them. So we're trying to do something locally with the recruiters doing that and the high school students, trying to draw them in
Okay.
and recruit them. So
Awesome. So for those that may want to get to know you or reach out for mentorship or how to, get involved and become a 92 Golf, how can they reach you? How can they find you?
Well, the 79th has a great Facebook page, and also the 311th Facebook page.
I mean, you personally. You have LinkedIn,
I
social
don't
media,
have LinkedIn.
you have
No.
phone number,
talk to
I
them.
have an
email.
email.
Okay, Chief, how about you?
You can find me on Teams. Army Teams. David.c.Luttrell. That's 2 T's, 2 L's. .mil@army.mil. So
Luttrell.
I will. Yes, no H.
Okay.
So yeah, I will definitely reply.
Okay. How about you, Sergeant Palmer?
How can people hit me up?
Yeah. How can they reach you on the socials? On you have a social media presence.
Like already Army.
How would you? I mean, obviously these two only want people to reach out to them on their Army presence. They don't.
Honestly,
people to-
I'm always available.
Yeah.
I'm always available. So you can call me. I'm not giving you my personal number, but you can Google me.
Okay.
You'll find me.
If I just type in Susan Palmer.
Hey, we gave more information than she.
you know how many Susan Palmers there are out there in the world?
There's not many.
Are you sure?
Not many that won the DA Connolly.
But
In the Army, there's
no,
like 8.
if soldiers want to reclass to 92 Golf, if you want to try to become a 92 Golf, you know where I'm at, Sloan, Nevada. Like everybody knows me
Yeah.
in Nevada. I have 18 customer units within a 50-mile radius, but they see how hard we work. We're the only MOS that actually has a real life mission during battle assemblies. It's true. They all know. Come
What-
through my serving line.
What
You'll
if I'm
see me.
Susie Homemaker that doesn't have an Army email and I'm just trying to reach out to you? How do they don't go to Sloan, Nevada? How are
Aren't
they
you gonna put up like a little QR code at the end
No, I
that they
don't-
can link to
No,
us?
No.
So if these
Nobody's gonna write down my email address.
if any soldiers are serious about joining and
Yeah,
becoming a
QR
92 Golf,
Yeah.
look me up on Facebook.
Okay.
There you
I'll
go.
eventually respond.
That's
There you go.
dangerous.
I got you. All right.
Susan Palmer.
Susan,
Susan Palmer with the Bud Light in my hand.
with the Bud Light in your hand. All right.
Not
Yeah.
not Suzanne.
Hey, I wanted to say I appreciate you all coming on the show. Thanks for doing an outstanding job at the Philip Connolly. And then I know you guys are going to showcase some great talent out here this week at the Culinary of the Year competition. So I look forward to covering it, getting some great photos and some videos of the soldiers. So with that, I'll let you guys go, and I appreciate your time.